In this video, I'm going to get you started on the C# Fish project. This is really just an exercise in getting you familiar with making a new project, working with variables or adding variables, and writing if statements. And I'll also show you how to import some image resources and get like a little animation framework going here. But it's very, very simple. So I'm going to open up Visual Studio and I'm going to create a new project. And I'm going to make sure it's a Windows Form application for C#. So I don't want to Windows Form app. There we go. .NET Framework C#. Okay, so I'll select that and make sure that you are putting it in your X drive. If you set up Visual Studio correctly, that shouldn't be an issue. I'm going to call this thing Fish, and I will click Create. And Visual Studio will kind of make some files for me here. And it's done. So let's just kind of navigate around a little bit. I'm going to want to have the toolbox open. So if I select you need to have like a form selected, but there's only one form on our thing here. So I'm just going to select the form and then go to View menu and Toolbox. That'll bring up the toolbox. There we go. Okay. Right, and if for some reason you close the toolbox, you can always get back to it by View, Toolbox. There's the toolbox. Okay, now let's add a picture box control onto our. Wait, no, we're not going to do that. Let's add our image properties. Image properties. Let's add our image resources first. To add image resources, let's go up to Project. Properties. So it's the next one from the bottom, Fish Properties. And let's go to Resources. So Project Properties, Resources. And under Add Resource, we'll say Existing File. Project Properties, Resources, Add Existing File. And now I'm going to drag. Oh, God, I can't talk today. Words is hard. I'm going to go out to the folder where I have these resources. And I'm going to select Background, Fish Left, and Fish Right, and click OK. And now I've got those image resources in my project, and I'll save it just to be okay, but just to be safe there. So now let's go back to our form, and I'm going to add a picture box onto our form. So I'm just up here in the little filter window. I'm just going to type picture, and it'll filter out everything that doesn't meet, that's not a picture box. There we go. So there's our picture box. So right now I have the picture box selected. If I want to work on the form, I just have to select the form. So when I'm selecting the form, the properties I see down here at the right are in the form. When I click on this picture box, the properties I see here are on the picture box. So let's say I don't want this thing to say Form 1. I can find the text property, and I can call this thing like Stupid Fish Project or something. Silly Fish Project. There we go. Okay, so there's the Silly Fish Project. Okay, now let's go back and select this picture box control. And what I'm going to do now is go over to the Properties window again and click on the wrench. And we're going to find the background image property here. Not the image property, the background image. And we are going to pick, let's see here, I might have to give myself a little more room. Background image, I'm going to pick the background. And you can see that it kind of didn't really, it's tiling in, but if you look below that, you can see it says background image layout. We can select that and we can say stretch. So now it'll stretch our image to fill our picture box there. Okay, so this is a background image. It is not the image property, it is the background image property. So what else do we need to do? We need to add a paint event because we're going to be drawing a fish on our background here. So let's add a paint event. Now to do that, I need to get to the events, and that is under the lightning bolt. So if I click on the lightning bolt here, now I get all the events that I can hook up to that picture box, and I want to find the one that says paint. So I'm going to go to paint, I'm going to double click next to it, and Visual Studio has now created a paint function for me, where I can paint onto that form. Let's go back to our designer here. And I also want to add a mouse move property. So let's go down here, find mouse move, I'm going to double click on the blank area next to it. I now have a mouse move event on that picture box. So when I move the mouse around, I'll get notified. So I think that's all we need. Yeah, mouse move and paint. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a timer. So we're going to have a timer that runs pretty fast, like 100 times a second or something, or no, I don't know, whatever. And or 60 times a second. And every time it does that, we're going to do something in our program and then refresh the picture box. So what's going to happen is the timer is going to elapse, and then we'll tell our picture box to paint. Timer elapses, tell our picture box to paint. Timer elapses, tell our picture box to paint. Okay, so let's go to our form here. And I'm going to select timer up here. So I'm going to take a timer, I'm going to drag it onto the form, and you should see now the timer of control down here called timer 1. So timers aren't really visual, you're not going to see them on your form. Let's select timer 1 now and go to its properties. Why am I not seeing the properties for the timer? Oh, wait, yes, okay. There it is. Why was I? That's weird. Okay, so I had to click on the little wrench with the different wrench. We want our timer to always run, so we're going to set its enabled property to true, and let's change the interval from 100 milliseconds down to 10 milliseconds, so the timer will run faster. All right, so that's our timer right now. Now, we need a function that will be called when our timer elapses. So to make that function, we can either go to the lightning bolt here and double click right there, or we can double click on our timer control itself. Just double click there. And now we have a timer tick function. So this function will get called whenever the timer runs. So let's see now. Now we basically have the framework for our game. So let's, I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of help here. This is where you're going to put your variables. Put your variables here, right? And the variables you need to add are explained in the handout. Now, what else? When the mouse is moved, we need to store where the mouse is. So we're going to have some variables here, mouse X and mouse Y, and it is explained what those are in the instructions. Down here in mouse up, not mouse. Why is it mouse up? Damn it! It's not supposed to be mouse up. I clicked on the wrong thing. Let's go here. We want mouse move. There we go. Mouse move. There we go. So in mouse move, I'm going to set our mouse X equal to E dot mouse X. No, E dot X. There we go. And mouse Y equal to E dot Y. Uncomment this. So if you try to run this right now, right, like we don't have mouse X and mouse Y, we didn't declare those, so that code is going to break. It'll say, I don't know mouse X and mouse Y. So just to keep things from breaking, I'm going to uncomment those. All right, and then let's see. I'll give you guys, I guess, two more hints here. At the bottom of your timer tick function, we're going to say move the fish. And then after we've done that, we're going to say picture box 1 dot invalidate. And what that's going to do is trigger a repaint. Trigger a repaint. There you go. Okay. And then what are we going to do in our paint function? We've got this function up here for painting the picture box. Draw the fish at fish X, fish Y. These are going to be variables you add. Okay, now which image do you pick? You have two fish images, right? So if we go to our project, fish properties, you see we have fish left and fish right. How are you going to do that? Well, to access that image, you're going to do e.graphics.draw. Now in here, you're going to supply three things. The coordinate to draw the fish should be fish x and fish y. And here you're going to supply the image of the fish to draw. Sorry, we need a semicolon there. We haven't added fish x and fish y, so this isn't actually going to work yet. So how do you access those images that you imported? You're going to say properties.resources. And then the name of the image. So I think we have fish left or something. So assuming we actually had a variable called fish x and fish y, which you're going to add, this would draw that fish left image at that coordinate. But I want an if statement here. Draw the, and follow the instructions. Follow the instructions to draw the fish facing the right way, the correct way. There we go. So, oops, sorry, I kind of got off task there. So you're going to have something like this. You're going to have two of these. If the mouse is on one side of the fish, draw the fish one way. If the mouse is on the other side of the fish, draw the fish the other way. This is explained in the instructions. And then this mouse up thing that I accidentally added, don't worry about that. So this is all explained in the handout, and you should actually, that should be enough to get you going. And then when you have it all typed in, click the start button, and you should see your fish swim around, and it should, wherever you move the mouse, the fish should swim there.